back on the other side of the shop, I need to finish the lantern. And I was thinking, oh, the only thing I've left is the lantern. Well, I still have the pauldrons. I was going to do the pauldrons. Not sure how. I'm even going to attach those. That's a great question. I don't have a great answer to that. First is to focus on the lantern, because the pauldrons, I'd like them. At this point, if they don't get done, I'm like, no big deal. But the lantern I want to focus on. I'd like to do lights in the mask, at least. Now I'm like, I don't know how the lights of the eyes work. Is it going to be shining in my eyes? And is that going to be a big hassle to prevent it from shining in my eyes? I would like the red backlights to just give it a cool glow. But first, I need to do the lantern. The lantern was one of the most... The lantern is the thing I was most excited about when I started this. And it's still not done. And we're, like, the days are ticking down. Like, we're down on, like, short time in it now. And so I just need to get that done. I need to figure out the lighting. I need to figure out the bottles, the sand. I do have some red dye already on hand, so I can dye my sand. I need to figure out how much sand I need, which to figure out exactly how much sand I need. I need to figure out what size my bottles be, because all, like, this lantern over here, there's still, like, a lot going on. Like, the height, we got it. We know what size the bottles are going to have to be. We've got some plate of that, because it'll have to go through the foam. And hopefully I can seal it up well. Hot glue should be fine. But I just need to get that going. And really, before I get the bottle finalized in there, I kind of need to paint the lantern. I'm just going to do it black, the good old rubberized coating. Maybe do some weathering on it, because weathering just always makes it look a little bit better. But we need to make progress. Now I need to figure out, I was thinking like the tops. I was like, oh, I'll just leave it open. Well, no, this thing flips. You can't leave it open. You'll see it. I'm just going to cut a big old piece of foam there. Do I need to leave my wiring open, just in case things go wrong, because they will go wrong? I'm thinking I'm going to have a switch on the top, which I put on the side, just so on the top I can be a little more visible. Put it on the side, right next to my rope that comes across, that way I'll hide it a little bit. I think I'm going to need a switch for the top and bottom, and I'm going to have to drill through this wood to get through the foam for the lights. A lot going on. So I'm going to jump into that, figure it out. And then the bottom, I've had it sitting on the bottom. You can see the base is starting to flare out a little bit, just the weight of the entire thing. I think if I glue a plate on the top and bottom, that will fix that. We need to start figuring stuff out. It's time to jump into the bottles, figure out what those need to be cut to, how I'm going to attach those together, which I think will be hot glue. I think that's where we are. We just need to get going, because we are to that moment. And the biggest thing is the lights. I mean, I'd hate for this not to have lights. Would it be big if it doesn't? No. The average person will not know. But I do want lights in the back of the mask, just red shining back, just to fill up my head. I mean, come on, that's cool. I just need to get going. And that is now. I'm going to get going right now. So I wanted to see if my red LED lights, are they going to do what I want them to do? This is a rough test. You can see that glow in the back. I like that. So now I really want it. And of course it's going to be some work. Now will I abandon the yellow eyes? Maybe, because I kind of like this is so dark and the eyes are a little light. But I'm going to test it. I'm going to see if I can put some yellow lights in here, see just how that looks. So I'm getting to the point where I'll have to consider what do I cut out. But that glow right there looks really good. Have that on both sides. Oh, I like it. I'm just testing my electronics to see, is it worth it? Do I need to pursue it? The yellow, that's dim. That is 8 yellow LEDs. I'd have 8 top and bottom. That's not very bright. Now in pitch black, yeah, it would show. But my red LEDs in the mask, or in the helmet, no. Hood, like that backlight looked really good, is bright enough. These yellow LEDs are not as bright as I'd like for them to be. And I don't know if there's any way to fix that. I might just be stuck on that. Let me try a white LED in there, see how much brighter that looks. If at all, if I can hold on to it. Thing's tricky. Let's put a yellow. Alright, I just wanted it brighter. And I get I'm working with small LEDs. Is that plugged in right? What am I? My whites need a lot more juice. Let's do it this way. Is that white a dud? It should work. It works on 3.6 volts, needs more voltage than yellow, which I guess it should be brighter as a matter of fact. That's weird. Why is it not working? I'm pretty sure it's 3.6 volts right off, and I'm not. Well, I don't know. That's an unsolved mystery going down in history. Should be working on my hourglass right there. I'm working on my mask. It is done. Yeah, that is some bad, crazy wiring. But you know what? It works, and I'm happy with it. And I didn't want to add a switch, so I don't have to drill any more holes. But oh, did we just? It just worked. Oh my gosh. What did I do? That's so. Oh, okay, weird. Seems like the battery wasn't seated correctly. So look at that. It works. It lights up the back of the hood. I gotta try this on. Easy come, easy go. Had all 4 lights working. Now one is not working. I'm just playing with the connections. I get my connections aren't great. This is kind of a quick thing. I don't know. I'm not gonna fool with it because I got bigger fish to fry. I got 3 lights working. Unfortunately, the hood kind of covers it. Now let's do a video of it. Let's go in. I don't know why that one doesn't work. It's very unfortunate because I get this thing working and it's fine, and then one just stops working. I don't know. I can get flicker. I can't tell which wire, and I've jumped it like negative to negative, positive to positive, to see if that's the issue. It doesn't seem to be. This is kind of a cool effect. I mean, the hood covers it a little bit, kind of blocks out light. Unfortunately, I wish it shone a little bit better, but it's still a nice effect. Like, you know, I guess once you pin it, you get that effect. A little bit of glow. I like it. Especially at night, it'll work better. Fortunately, in the light, not quite as predominant. Still a cool effect. And I'm skipping the eyes because my space to work behind the eyes, there's no space. Like I can't even reach the LEDs to get them kind of at the top of the eyes. I'm bagging it. Now it's time for the lantern. Haven't done the pauldrons. I don't know where that is. We're just gonna keep rolling forward with the lantern because that is the crucial part. The pauldrons, if I don't have them, nobody's really gonna know that they're not there. If I don't have the lantern, nobody's gonna know it's not there, but I will know, and that's important to me. So I need to cut my bottles, just figure out how all this stuff fits together, because I was thinking about sequencing. I'd prefer not to put the bottles in and then heat treat it and paint it. I think probably the best thing to do is to cut my circles where the bottles fit into the foam, then heat treat it, because that'll cause that to open up and give me a great channel for the bottles to fit into, and then glue it. That would mean putting the bottles in before I paint it. It may not be bad, it may not be bad, you know, to have kind of a messy edge around the bottom. I just think this is going to be a little grody, a little dirty. Maybe it makes sense. I just need to actually make forward progress on that, because we have not. The lights, I'm kind of on the fence about the lights. Do we have them? Do we not? I think it's a cool effect. If I don't have them, I'm not sure I really care. I got to figure out how easy it's going to be to even get them in place. So I've got the basis for my hourglass. It'll look like this. I'll tell you about the paper in a minute. And it'll be like that. You know, decent hourglass. Cut it with just a hobby knife. And so the reason I have paper on this, I'm going to measure out how much sand I need. Because, you know, I don't want the sand all the way to the top. I'm thinking maybe, well, let me, paper's coming up. I think maybe the sand halfway up. I don't know. I'm thinking halfway. I don't want too much sand because that's going to add weight to this thing too. It's already getting pretty big. So I'm going to think sand halfway up. I'm going to measure it in here, see what I think. Do I think halfway looks good? Less, more? We'll figure it out. I do have some red dye. I assume I can just mix red dye and sand and it will become red. I don't know, but I think that'll work. I've marked on my lantern / hourglass where it is, and basically I just traced the bottom of this onto a piece of paper and traced on there just to make sure I could center it and get it right, because there is some room for, if it's not quite right, I've got some room to maneuver. And I'm going to slice into this EVA foam, hot glue it, well, let's see, slice in the foam, heat treat it so that gap opens up, hot glue, put this thing in there. If it's a little messy, I don't care, because that's kind of the name of this whole costume. A little messy is okay. Put these in there, and then I'll just have to figure out, I don't know, I'm thinking right now, maybe I'd do like foam, just some hobby foam around here, hot glue the edges when I put them together, EVA foam around it, that'll be fine, you know, paint that black. I'm getting a lot of stuff where I had to tape off, just nature of the business. I guess I think I have black hobby foam, crash foam. So that may work to save me some painting. I don't know what to do about these tops. I mean, I hate to cut a big piece of foam because it's such a big piece. I think I'm going to have to. I'm going to put wiring in there, I think. Am I going to do lights in here? I'd like to. I'd still like to, even though it's not going to be very bright. It's a cool effect. Like, even if you have lights just around the base, it looks cool. And I would like to do that. That is 2 more battery holders, 2 more switches, a bunch of LEDs, a bunch of wiring. I don't know. I really need to sit down and get focused on the wiring. You know, the whole solder and heat shrink and like really do it right. And you see, my wiring is crappy. It's quick. But these are costumes that are one and done. So it makes it hard for me to it's difficult for me to feel motivated to do it, quote unquote, right. Well, I'm just going to toss it. I now have sand everywhere, but I think I've figured out how much I want. I think that amount, you can kind of see how much is in there. Adds a little bit of heft, yes, but I feel like I need to be a little more than halfway just so you can see it. Now you gotta figure out how to dye it. I mean, do you put You know, if you're dyeing cloth, water and dye, and you put the cloth in, is that you use water and dye with sand? I guess so, because you can't use pure dye. It's not diluted enough. Like you wouldn't be able to get all the sand in it. But how does the sand dry? Does it just dry on its own? Like if you leave it like this, can you spread it out on a towel? These are all good questions. You definitely have to use water. How would it dry? Well, I guess dirt dries eventually. That's gonna be an adventure. I think I'm just gonna put it in, the end of the bottle I cut off. Just put it in there. That's a waterproof, or at least watertight. Good spot to do that. I guess I'm to the point where I need to cut the slots in there for these ends of the hourglass. Don't quite know how I assemble all together, because I guess I gotta glue the bottom one in, put the sand in, then glue the top, and then bring it all down, because I haven't screwed the, actually flipped it, I've not screwed the top on, so I can pull this up if I need to, and then kind of put it all down, which is probably the way to do it. And once it's down, it is not going to be coming apart. Alright, let me look at dyeing sand. I know, right? But red sand, it's going to be pretty cool. So I don't know how much dye, how much water you need. I just kind of guessed at it. We have some Scarlet red dye. Check that out. I had about half a bottle. I've used maybe a quarter of it. I think that's good. We're going to pour some sand in here and find out. I don't really know. I assume this will work. I mean, dye stuff, you'd think it would work. So we're gonna pour it in and see what happens. Away it goes. I really did not account for the fact that the sand would displace water. So I didn't flip to the very top. Oh my gosh, I'm not even sure I'm able to start this. There's not much space left. I don't know if I'll be able to move this. Holy cow, that sand is taking up a lot of space. I may need to dump some liquid. Alright, sand is in with not much room to spare. Can I get sand on the end of this little stick? Here's the, no, the answer is I can't. So I think probably too much liquid. I mean, I technically should have known that the sand would displace about half or so. I really need to. It would be nice to know if this is doing anything. So I see the sand in the bottle, and it doesn't, I don't know, it looks kind of tinted red. Not the most tinted red thing I've ever seen. I mean, could I dump it out right now and would it be good? I need to find something. I need to scoop some sand out of here. I don't know what I have. And I also don't know what I have that I don't care about turning red. Alright, well, I think we're probably good on the dye. I need to move this because I can't really work it. This is right in the middle of everything. I'm going to make a mess with it. Let's see, that piece of foam I can use to get some sand out. Don't want to do that. Wow, I really dyed that piece of foam. That little bit of sand certainly looks red. So this is the aftermath of my attempt to dye sand. It is definitely reddish. I used that piece of material to get the liquid out of my container I was dyeing it in. You can see, wet sand is not easy to work with. I didn't quite have that in. I'm going to sit here and just dry. I don't know, I give it a day and hope for the best, see what happens. The saga of my sand continues. I like the color red. I'm liking it more today than I did yesterday. I don't know if it's because it's dried or what's going on. You can see there's still a fair amount of moisture in there. I'm trying to spread it around to displace the moisture, because once you put it in the hourglass, well, the moisture is not going to escape the plastic. I don't know if it'll escape the foam. I mean, there's foam in wood. Could it escape that? I don't know. I don't know if the moisture would travel through the foam or not. I would tend to think no. So I want it completely dry before I put it in there, or at least dry as I can get it. But I'm getting short on time. I kind of need this to get going. So I don't know if I should transfer it to another paper towel, because I keep losing sand every time I transfer it. Sand stays behind. But I'm not losing any color. You see like all the dye out of that. That's at least drying. I don't have any dye here. So I'm going to give it a little bit more time. This color is good though. I'm liking it. Now I just need to, I think I'm going to try to finish up the lantern. I think I do want some corner pieces on it. I'm going to see. I'm going to mock that up. I need to paint it, plastic dip it, just so I can, keep the process going. I was so close to gluing it last night. And I was, oh wait, the sand's not in here. Now if I had glued it, I either could maybe pry it apart or drill a hole on one end and pour the sand in that way and just, fill the hole back up. Not my preferred method, but, desperate times, desperate measures. One thing I forgot about, and I thought of originally and I forgot. Initially, I planned to cut the threaded part off so that this is a wider flange, so the flanges meet, just better contact, better glue, better attachment. Completely forgot. Too late into it now. Everything's glued up. I can't do that. It's one of those things you think about originally, you think about initially, and then as you're in it, you forget. You're just so focused on getting it done, getting it together. That is what it is. Now, do I want to paint this after? Do I want to paint this with the globes in there? No, but it is what it is. Like, I wanted to make sure they were in there and good before I painted. And I was going to hot glue around here in this crevice. Well, that hot glue started melting the plastic. Not what I want. Where was it? You can see, I don't know if you can see it right in there. Yeah, I started putting contact cement, so I'm keeping these apart and want them to glue. But you can see it right there. You can see it's all screwy looking. It melted and warped the plastic right there. Again, I've always said, hey, that's just battle damage. And I wonder if I should caulk this gap around here just to make sure nothing's getting out or in. I don't think it's an issue. I mean, the plastic is below the foam. There's hot glue. I think it's good. I think I'm just going to leave it less to fool with. Because if I caulk it, I'm going to have this weird line. If I don't caulk it, easier to tape off. But the bad thing about painting it is it's not quite together. Like, I'm going to have to smush it a little bit. I'd rather have it in place before I paint it. But I don't know if I can wait on my sand to dry. I don't know. I'm going to give it a little bit of time and see. I think I'm going to add some corner pieces just to give us a little bit more flair. Just kind of come up, down, around. Just needs a little more something. I'm going to cut my pieces for the top. I'm just going to sandwich in there. I don't know if I want to glue it, but I almost need something. Like maybe a gusset, which would be just a triangle here, just to kind of pull that back in just for the foam. It's just wanting to splay out. Because I think I want the foam just to friction fit so I can still access all my wiring. My battery's going to be stuck in here. I'm going to want those my battery packs, my battery holders will be in here. I'm going to want those batteries back because these are my rechargeable batteries. I'm going to want those back. And I've got one in the helmet. I've got one in the lock. The lock's easy to get to. But this is going to take 2 different battery packs. That's 4 batteries. And I'm going to completely conceal them in here. And I think maybe just tension fit this. I don't know. Because if I glue it, I'm going to have to cut a hole in it. And I don't want a hole to access battery packs. I want it completely, and I'm thinking I'm just put the switch, just cut a hole here, put it there. It's the best I can do. The switch has got to be visible. Well, I guess if it friction fits, I could just do it like the helmet or the mask and just pop a battery out when I'm not using it. But I don't know how well friction fit's going to fit here. Can you see this is blown out? So it's going to be a weird gap to it. I don't know. For now, let's just cut the corners, see what I think. Because it may be that I don't like the little corner pieces. That it's plain, but that's plain enough, and that's fine enough. We'll see. All right, so it is final countdown. I'm just ready to be done. Still working on my lantern. You can see it right there. These are all my corner pieces that I'm going to put on each corner, top and bottom. Because it just needs a little bit of flair to kind of finish it up. My sand is still drying. You see my sand right there. It is drying. It is close. Not quite there. If I can't finish putting the bottles together, I can't glue those together to the sand things. I really don't want to cut a hole in the top or bottom. I want it, completely sealed. These corners, I just put some contact cement on those. Once that dries, I'll put those together. Then I'll contact cement them to the actual lantern. I need to cut my top and bottom piece, just the plates. Need to do all my wiring. I still plan to do wiring, I think. I'm up in there. I want to be done. I'm ready to be done. I found myself, I'll keep starting to clean up the shop. I'm like, oh wait, no, I need to work on this. I'm just ready to be done. It always happens, and it's final countdown. The pauldrons, the shoulder pauldron is going to do. They're going to look a little bit like this. Not doing it. I'm just not. Does it look cool? Yes, but I've got like chains going on. I've got stuff going on. I'm not sure I need them. And my thought, if I had pursued it, I think I was going to put magnets. They would have been on EVA foam. Put magnets on the inside And then on my shoulder pads that are in the robe, put magnets there. And would that have worked? I don't know. I don't know if these magnets are strong. They're not rare earth, they're just regular magnets. Don't know if it would have been strong enough. I think it would have looked cool, like it would have been out kind of here, but I'm ready to be done. Like, I'm ready to be done. So I'm waiting on my connect cement to dry. Then I'm waiting on my sand to dry. I'm waiting on everything to dry. I need it to dry. Not there yet, but hopefully soon. It's been a fun build. This is the first year I've done a costume of my own design and my own creation. The Grim Reaper, I mean, it's not like he's completely original. Like, the concept is there, but I didn't look at anything else until I'd established my design and done what I wanted to do. And I'm really happy with it. You know, things have changed, things have morphed, but I like how it came out. Really, a lot of fun. Cool costume, fun costume. And next year, I'm going to be a Hamburglar. And that's going to be a lot of fun. Now, that is an established character, because usually I do established characters just a little more fun. Because, you know, if you look at, like, say, my Mandalorian, if you were looking at that, you're like, oh, wow, this guy's got skills. Like, look at how he reproduced that. That looks screen accurate. With the Grim Reaper, there's no reference, so you don't know, am I good or not? You don't know. It's like, yeah, that looks good, but what were you trying to mimic? Nothing. That's kind of the trick there. But next year, the Hamburglar, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And not as scary as I usually do, but it's still going to be a lot of fun. So we are T-minus 1 day. I wore the costume out again. Did not take the scythe just because it was it's a lot of trouble. You know, you got to fit the scythe in the car, you have to put it together, take it apart. I didn't do it, but I wore the whole thing out. A lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Wanted to get my hourglass. Wanted to take it. Wasn't able to get it done in time. You can see, I got my red sand. I like it. Had a little bit of trouble with this and some contact cement, but eventually got that. Check it out. Watch it go. Goes a little quickly because it is a water bottle, but I'm okay with that. There it goes. There it goes. Boom. I should time that to see how long it is. I do. I like it. It came out really well. I've not done the top or bottom. Have not done the lighting. And I've got one time I have tonight. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not working on it tonight. I got one night after that to do it and all the lighting. The only thing's gonna happen if I can get some plates in the top, just so you don't see the wood and the bolts. I mean, I'm thinking just cut the EVA foam out. Don't even cut it. And I did some gussets in there just to kind of brace this thing. Maybe it just tucks under there and that holds it in place loosely. I'm good with that. I will say I did not take the scythe tonight. I think that kind of hurt the overall like impact of the costume. You know, without this big scythe, it loses a lot. It just seems a little on the cheaper side. That was okay. I would not have changed it. But this one's in the books. We got one night. I think the lights are just not going to happen. And that's potentially. Can I get them done tomorrow night? Maybe. Maybe. Kind of thinking maybe not. The lantern / hourglass is done. I almost didn't do the lights, but I decided to. You can see the gray. Didn't paint the top. Here is how it works. You hold it like that. You also hold it like that. 7 seconds for the hourglass to dispense. I wish I'd put like a plastic, like when I glue these guys, I wish I'd put something plastic with a smaller hole. I wish I'd put some piece of plastic in between these with a smaller hole so it would not be 7 seconds. That's just a little quick. You can see my lights in there. In there. I thought about not doing the lights. I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. I actually like how it came out. I like the little dots. I wanted something a little more effusive, a little brighter. I actually like how these dots look. I mean, they give it a nice look. They reflect off of the plastic. Very cool. I like this. You can see I painted it. Did a little missing the red. And I like the way I mixed it with red. I did a kind of a burgundy color. I went back and did the scythe too. It just adds a nice effect to it. Kind of wish I'd done the tabard with the red, but I'm not going back and doing that. Look at that thing. Oh, it is great. I love it. You know, I'm going to hold it out like this. The lantern, the hourglass, all of it. Love it. I just love it. You can flip it and go. The lights look good. Didn't put a switch in there because I didn't want to mar my surfaces with having a switch. So what to do? I just take the battery out and the light goes out. Costume officially done. Not doing the pauldrons, you know, shorted a few things. It's done. I'm glad. I'm happy. I feel like I should do a video of me putting on the costume, just to see all the pieces, how they all fit together. I'm going to do that. I hope.